Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining again for a lovely Tuesday live stream. Today's going to be really fun. We're talking all about cool season crops and a lot of my favorite varieties. So, right before this, I was going through and looking at all of my favorite things. I'm getting so excited because I want to plant all of these out, and it is almost time for me to get all of my seeds started. So I'm very excited to get these going. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys about some of my favorite varieties and everything that we're going to be growing. And I would love to hear from you guys as we're going through, like what you guys are growing, what your favorite varieties are of what we're talking about today. So, welcome everybody. Thank you all so much for joining. My name is Carrie, for those of you new joining us. My husband Dale and I are the creators of the From Seed to Spoon app. And yeah, we started gardening, oh gosh, in 2015 now. And along the way, we're like, there needs to be an app for that and make it a lot easier because there was so much to learn as we were going through. And oh man, it was just a lot to learn and navigate. And along the way, we just learned so much, and we put everything we've learned into the From Seed to Spoon app. So hopefully you guys like it and use it a lot. I use it every single day. Seriously, I am always on it, checking what I can plant new and logging my seeds I'm starting, and or taking pictures and sending it up to Growbot for help. I use it all the time too. So yeah, it's always fun. Today I'm going to be solo. Dale couldn't join us today, but he is here. Hopefully going to join us in the chat in a little bit. He is running around busy. So if I might be distracted trying to pull up some comments too. And yeah. Oh, he says he's here. Okay, cool. Dale is here. So everybody, hi Dale. He's in the chat. Oh, looks like we have Smart Pots here. And Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Oh, that's so exciting. You did your propagation in your biodome. Yes. It's amazing how great the biodome works for propagation. I loved it. We did some on our live stream just like a month ago now. So if you guys missed that, go back and check that out because it was so much fun. We propagated together. We did a bunch of rosemary, and then I also propagated some thyme and put it all into my biodome. They're actually right there behind me. I have one of my seed starting areas right here behind me. Hey, everybody. I love that everybody is getting excited for gardening and starting growing too. I'm with you guys too. We have a lot to grow. Oh, yep, we got people saying hi. Okay. That's so amazing. I'm so glad it helps you. It helps me, honestly, on the daily as well. I'm always on it. Um, Oh, one thing I did not mention. Make sure you guys, looks like you guys are all commenting already, which is perfect. But continue to do so because every time you guys comment, it gets you entered in to win the giveaway that we're going to be doing at the end of this live stream. And it's going to be for a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So you will get free access for an entire year. You'll have free shipping on all of your orders through the app. We are partnered with Park Seed. So all of Park Seed's store is within our app, so you can get everything there. And you also will get unlimited visual garden layouts that you can do, unlimited plants you can log, send up pictures to Growbot for identification, for plant, for pest, for just help. And so much more, honestly, but I'm not going to ramble on and on about that. But I do want to, oh, hi, you're
Hey,
joining us. Yay.
all right. I found a gap in the schedule. January is the busy time of year if you work at a company that sells gardening seeds. So, hello everybody.
It's always very busy in January. I mean, in the garden too, as you guys know, I'm sure, and seed starting and all of that. So, yeah. So, as I was saying with the giveaway, I do want to mention at the end as well. If you're watching this after the fact, you still have a chance to win. We do a giveaway that lasts for like a week after until the next live stream because we do these every single week. We're here every Tuesday with you guys. But we do have a winner from last week. Congratulations to, I will probably butcher your name. I'm very, very sorry. But Malia B from Tennessee. So congratulations. She commented on our indoor seed starting workshop that we had last week. We went over everything you need to know, and she had commented on that YouTube, and she won. So email us at info@seedspoon.net. We'll get you hooked up. Okay. Let's do it. Here we go. Uh-oh. Started not in the beginning. I guess I gave you guys a little hint of what we're going to be talking about there. Okay. So, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat as well, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can as we go through. Okay, and then I did already mention this too. So, yes, make sure you guys are commenting to enter to win. So first, before we jump into all of the specific seeds and everything that we're going to be doing, I do want to mention real quick for when to start your seeds, because each plant is going to be different. Each seed's going to be different as to when you start it. Like some are 2 to 3 weeks before your frost, some are 8 to 12. I mean, there's such a different wide range of them. So the Seed to Spoon app will help make it a lot easier for you. All you need to do is just on that main growing or on the main dashboard in the app, you can go in and there's this Let's Grow section where it pulls up all of the everything that is new for you to be able to plant that day, and also just anything that you are in the range to be seed starting. And there's that planting calendar right there, as well as if you go into each plant details screen, it'll give you exact planting dates too. And then I did want to point out this task list here too. So if you wanted to see it like then down on just your favorites, and not all of the seeds that you can start, you can go here, and anything you have marked as favorites, if it comes time to start them indoors, it will start notifying you and let you know it's time to start these seeds indoors. So that's kind of super helpful for me. So that's under the task list in the My Garden tab. So I just wanted to show you guys how I always go about finding when to start my seeds, because I always rely on the app whenever I'm going through.
That's a cool graphic you made. I didn't see that till now.
Thanks.
Karen makes all these graphics, just so y'all know. She spends a lot of time on all the social graphics and everything. She has a lot of fun doing it.
I do. I have fun, making pretty pictures of gardening because it's so pretty too. It's fun to do. Especially if she wants to make like a superhero ladybug, and she gets to use like AI to generate cool, like funny pictures and stuff. Like, yeah. And it's, oh man, on Valentine's Day, like just look at our social. It's going to be ridiculous because she's going to have so many garden like puns and stuff because she loves making these little puns and stuff. Well, it's just too much fun. I can't not do it. Like it's just yeah. Anyways, yeah. So
I'm gonna derail us. That's what I do around here.
You're what?
I derail us. That's what I do on the live stream.
Well, you're good at that. So first on the list, I feel like I had to put lettuce first and foremost because that is one that is just amazing and it's super easy to grow. It's one of my favorite things. And for lettuce, like in that picture right there, I had it growing in smart pots. It works amazing growing in smart pots, and it's just one that can take the weather really easily too. So if you have really cold times, I mean, obviously it's not going to take like super hardy like frosts, like snow, ice, and all of that. But it will tolerate, like it says right there, a light frost. And I did want to talk about a few of my favorites. I'd love to hear what some of your guys' favorites are. My personal favorites here, I put in some of my favorites here too. My personal favorite is this sandy lettuce. Yep. Did you know I was going to say sandy too?
I waited till you pulled it up.
Yeah. So sandy lettuce seeds are, we did a taste test. So this last year we grew like, I don't even know how many different lettuce varieties we grew, but we grew so many, and we went through one day and just taste tested a leaf from every single one. And this one was one that I thought it tasted incredible, and it was just really pretty too. I really liked the looks of it, and it tasted amazing. So it had a lot going for it. So it was definitely one of my favorites.
Got a question from Celeste. You definitely can right now. Now, once it starts getting hotter, then you're going to have to either vent the greenhouse or keep it from getting too hot, because lettuce does not like to be hot. So, but this time of year, you can definitely grow it in a greenhouse. A lot of people are. We're growing it actually like in our sunroom, right outside of where Carrie's sitting right now, right off of our kitchen. We have a little sunroom we have a grow light above it because it doesn't get quite enough sun. But you could even grow it in a windowsill if it gets enough sun. But I know, like Celeste, you commented earlier saying that she just got a new. She just moved onto a 30-acre farm with a huge greenhouse.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So you're going to want to try. I'm betting you, like, so what you're going to want to do in that situation is you're going to want to start your seeds in that greenhouse. If you checked, like last week, we talked all about seed starting. You can see all about like the seed starting trays we use. The bootstrap farmer ones, definitely the ones I'd recommend for you for the scale you're going to be growing at. And then you can start your lettuce in the greenhouse, and then move it outside once it's able to. Lettuce can handle cold. It just doesn't like super cold. So you got to be like in the 40s and 50s really before you start planting your lettuce outside. But you can also do other things to protect them and stuff. But yeah, that's what you need to do with lettuce in your situation, Celeste.
Yeah, that was a great question. So I also want to include one more variety of lettuce too, and this one I know I've heard from you guys that it is one of your favorites too. But this was one that was especially Dale's favorite. He really likes the flavor of these, like, and I do. Like they're really good.
Yep, this one's really good, and it comes in this blend I really like because you get the two different colors of it. So that's really nice about this blend, but this one tastes really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear if you guys have any favorites in particular too. I'd love to hear that.
There was another one that was Little Jim. This one was really good too. We were a big fan of that one, as well as the Bower was really good. Remember how pretty that one? You love the way that one looked. And it does make like a really nice, and it survives the cold a little better than some of the other ones did as well.
Yeah, and then like I really like the red sails is really pretty. The bronze beauty, that one too is really nice. Like there's so many different varieties out there that are just there's like, yeah, it's hard to just pick one. That's why we grow so much lettuce, because we have different colors and textures and tastes. Like they're all incredible.
And that's one of the great things about lettuce is when you do talk about growing lettuce, you're talking about what variety do I grow? You're not talking about how do I prevent the squash bugs from eating it, because lettuce is really easy to grow. And it's one of the plants I would really recommend you starting with, especially if you're buying salad mix at the store right now. Please grow lettuce. It is so much cheaper and easier. You just throw some seeds on the ground. That's literally all you have to do. Hopefully it rains a little bit. If not, spray it with some water every now and then, and you will have lettuce. It is that simple. Doesn't have a lot of pest issues. So, and it's something you can grow like really early in the season. So we'll talk about some other things you can actually grow a little earlier than lettuce, but lettuce is one of the things that and depending on where you are, like we said, like if you go in the app and go to lettuce in the app, then you will see planting dates that are calculated for where you are. So this one is set to Tribune, Oklahoma right now, but wherever you are, it'll show dates based on that. They're calculated based off your nearest weather station.
Okay. Oh, it's brought us back to the beginning. Okay. Oh, while I have this picture pulled up, somebody did ask if we were only growing in these smart pots right here, or if we have any raised beds. And yes, so I did want to point out we have We have a whole bunch of smart pots that we grow in, as you can see in this picture. And we also have some raised beds as well that Dale actually built last year. They're these wooden raised beds. I'll pop up a picture of them. They're 4x8 wooden raised beds. And then he built these PVC dome hoop houses to go over top of them. And that can help whenever we're growing things that are susceptible to pests. We put insect netting on them or help protect the frost, do plastic sheeting. Yeah, so many different things. We grow everywhere. In every way, I feel like. Okay, spinach. Definitely need to talk about spinach. So I thought it was funny because I think it was last week we were talking all about this space. We were talking all about space, the space spinach, right? Wasn't that what we were talking about?
Yep, we did.
Yeah. And how it was like probably a good chunk of you guys mentioned how much you really liked this variety, and I was like, well, I guess I need to feature that one. But we grow a little bit of everything for spinach. Again, like we grow so much spinach, just like we grow a lot of lettuce, and we tend to just grow a whole bunch, and then we harvest it at different stages. Whenever it's like we plant it pretty dense, and then we start harvesting them and as babies, and then thinning them down essentially to have a couple big plants together.
Spinach is one of those crops that I mentioned on lettuce that does a lot better in the cold. So it is very cold hardy. In fact, we have spinach that is outside right now that's been unprotected all winter that we planted in the fall. And it's not really producing much right now. It's just kind of laying dormant and chilling, literally. But in the spring, it will start putting off leaves. It'll be one of the first plants that we start harvesting from. And then it'll be like one of the first plants that goes to seed and is done for the year. But then all the spinach that we plant pretty much here in a few weeks, we're about a month away. We'll probably push it. We'll try and do spinach early. Here in about 2 weeks, I'll start trying to plant spinach outside, depending on the weather. And a lot of this kind of winter planting or like early spring planting, like winter planting, if you get a spell of weather where it's nice for a couple weeks, like you can get some of these started, and the spinach will be one of those things I'm trying to start if we get that kind of little gap of 30s to 50s. Like if we're below 30, I'm not really trying to start anything. It's not going to go well. But if we get that gap of 30 to 50, I'm going to be trying that. So spinach is one of our absolute favorite things to grow. It's the first thing that really made me fall in love with gardening because, for one, we were spending a lot of money on spinach at the store before, and we never really I was never really excited to eat the spinach from the store. I was just trying to be healthy, and I was trying to make a little salad mix, and it wasn't anything special. But once we started growing it, we felt differently about it because spinach from the garden just tastes so much better. I'm not just saying that; it really does. There's something about when it's grown. Number one, it's the varieties you're able to grow in your backyard are ones that are better suited for taste, whereas the varieties that are grown for the grocery store are oftentimes varieties that are better suited for transportation and for preservation and for sitting on the shelf a long time without going bad. So if you don't have to worry about that and you can just harvest it and eat it immediately, then you can focus on the varieties that taste the best, or maybe varieties that have specific purpose. Like we have some spinach varieties, like Imperial Star. I gotta find that window. Here it is.
I love Imperial Star. Yeah,
that makes these like giant spinach leaves.
they're like uniquely shaped, kind of too. That's probably why they're named Star, because they almost have a star like, because they have like these. Yeah, you can kind of see the leaves there.
Yeah, and they get really big. So these leaves will be like the size of a tortilla, and we will use them as a tortilla replacement. So a lot of times in the spring, my lunch is just some of these spinach leaves with some like rice and chicken and beans or something like leftovers from dinner the night before that we reheat. And I just throw them in some of these spinach wraps and maybe some salsa or something, and it's amazing. We'll also do like salmon with some onions and that, like mix all that with some little bit of rice and put it inside these little big spinach leaves. And this is just like scratching the surface of all the different types of spinach. We could do an entire live stream
Probably, yeah,
on just spinach. So there's a
So
lot of
Robin
different things in
says
here.
that she loves spinach, but she's had a hard time growing it.
Spinach can be finicky to germinate. Here's what we've learned about spinach. We've never really had success starting it indoors. We don't even try anymore. And also, I just know that there may be plantings that don't really do well. And that's why I succession plant spinach. Once I start planting it, I'm usually throwing out more seeds every week or two. And that way, like one of those rounds will do well because they can be fickle and temperamental when it comes to temperatures. If it gets too hot, it doesn't like to germinate. If it can handle cold better than it can handle hot. But there's just a lot of different things with spinach that can cause it to be finicky. But we've had way better success just growing outside. And typically what we'll do with spinach is we'll either do the square foot gardening method when we use the seeding square that has the spacings, and we'll do 9 per square. Or a lot of times I'll just have a raised bed that I just take spinach seeds and just sprinkle all through it. And I'll do a mix of like spinach and kale that I do that with. And then that bed becomes a mix of both. And I just thin down as they grow. And it's just easier that way, just kind of sprinkle seeds. And then we end up with way more than we need because we eat a lot of spinach when it's in season. We're getting a lot of my lunches are just nothing but spinach wraps or something like that because I'm super busy and it's really convenient.
And the kids love doing it too. They love going out and just picking the leaves out there and just eating them.
Yeah, and there's some that have almost like a nutty flavor. There's some that have a bit of sweetness to them. Like they're all a little bit different, and that's one of the cool things about spinach. There's not a ton of pests you have to deal with. Not a lot of issues other than just keeping it from getting too hot, because once it does start to get hot, then spinach is going to do what it's called bolting, where the middle of the plant gets like it starts to form in the middle and it gets tall, and then there's a bunch of seeds at the top. That's basically the plant saying I'm done now. I'm putting out seeds, and the leaves get bitter and just don't taste as good. Spinach can be one of the first ones to do that if we get like a heat snap and I'm not good about going outside and keeping my plants cool. So spinach is one of those things that a lot of times I'm trying to plant it somewhere that it's going to get a lot of sun in the spring, but then when it starts warming up, it gets more shade in the afternoon. And I generally do that by planting it on the side of a plant that will get taller. So I might have it next to where like my tomatoes are going to be, or maybe like a squash or something like that. So the spinach will be completely like gets all the sun early in the season because there's no tomato out there. But then once my tomatoes go out and they start growing, then they create shade so that the spinach is in the shade in the afternoon. That's a real key with spinach, is think about where you're going to put it, because that's a key factor with growing spinach. But other than that, it's pretty easy to grow and it has a ton of health benefits. It's one of the top things that we grow just for the health benefit side of it. It has a lot of magnesium in it, which has been proven to help with things like anxiety and depression. So spinach is definitely that's why it's number 2 on our list here. It's one of our favorites.
So while you have the app pulled up, Patty was asking, she says she would love to see a step-by-step video on building the domes. Do you want to show her where that video is? So she
can find right here on the dashboard, if you scroll down here to videos, these are all videos that we go in and change out on a monthly basis for what's relevant to that time. And we've got one in here right now for these PVC domes. And this one right here has the step-by-step instructions for how to grow them. But we've got all sorts of stuff in here. And we'll be adding more stuff in here all the time. So, and we have like a YouTube channel. We've been doing this now for 8 years. I think we've been.
Long time. Yeah.
So a lot
it's
of
hard
content.
To believe.
And like our content right now is from a farm on 5 acres, but like a lot of our content from the first 5 years, probably it was in a backyard setting when we showed building a whole backyard setting. So go back to some of that old stuff too, if you want to see kind of how we have a before and after. So this is what our old backyard used to look like before we moved out to the country. And this is what we started with. So this is what led to us building the app. Was through the course of building this, there was a lot that went into that and a lot we had to keep track of and all of that. And so this app was made because of that. And we still use it now to manage our farm. So it can handle whatever size garden you throw at it. I lost my window. There you are.
I just noticed this. I had to look. I was like, oh, what's he wearing?
I know. No, like, our daughter makes fun of us all the time.
So
We
funny.
never plan to wear matching stuff, but because we get so busy in the morning where like one of us is off taking, like we don't even really see each other in the morning from the time we wake up. Like I'm at the computer, she's doing, like, it's chaos. And then by the time we see each other, it's, hey, we're wearing the same thing. And that it happens more often than it doesn't. So no, we did not plan this at all. Our life is just chaos and this happens.
Yep, I thought that was really funny. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's next. I think we're continuing with greens. So next we have kale. Kale again is super hardy. So this is one that, I mean, it lasts all winter long for us too. And let's see if I can pull up this one. So this lacinato kale seed. So the dinosaur kale is gonna be our favorite. I mean, there's so many different fun varieties, but this is one that we love to grow because our son loves the dinosaur name to it. So that's why we started growing it. We're like, this is dinosaur kale, and he was like, yes.
That's what started us growing it, but it's kept
Yeah.
around for more reasons. It's one of the hardiest kales that we have. Now, all of the kale is pretty hardy, which means it survives the cold really well. Um, kale always survives the winter. Even like the coldest winters we get, even if I don't water it or really take care of it at all over the winter, it seems to always be there in the spring ready to go. And this is one of the toughest of all the kales that we have. Um, yeah, it's awesome. Kale is one of those things too that um, does not taste great when you buy it from the store generally, because kale, the flavor of kale is really impacted by a lot of things, and one of them is temperature. And the point is, if you grow kale yourself, it's going to taste a lot better because you're harvesting it in the cold season. Now, if you harvest it in the summer, then it's going to be a little bitter. I don't recommend eating kale in the summer. We're switching to other greens in the summer. Like lettuce tends to be a little better about holding on to its flavor once it gets warmer. But kale and spinach are two of the things that we're growing like a lot of and harvesting a lot of early in the season. Again, a ton of health benefits on kale. A lot of the same things you see with spinach, but it's another one of those things that we're growing a lot for the health benefits. There are more pests with kale than with lettuce and with spinach, primarily the cabbage worm. We need to add pictures onto up here. So these little green worms that you see, can y'all see my mouse on the screen as I move it? Cool.
I see. Yeah.
So these little green worms right here, you're going to see them on the underside of your kale leaves, and you're going to see these white moths flying around. They're the ones laying the eggs for these moths. There's a couple of ways you can handle it. Number one, Carrie, can you pull up that PVC picture again?
Yeah.
The first option is to build these PVC domes and cover your plants with those. And we have either plastic sheeting that we use on those, or we also use insect netting as well. You can switch out the covering on there based on the season. You have to switch to insect netting when it gets warmer because the plastic sheeting will fry the plants if you don't do that. So that's one method of keeping them away. You can also buy this stuff called right here, this Monterey worm caterpillar control that you spray on the plants. And long story short, it's an organic method. It's a naturally occurring bacteria that when the caterpillars eat it, it kills them. It has no effect on humans. It's strictly a caterpillar thing. You can go that route too. I always clean off anything that I harvest with that just because I'm paranoid. They say it's fine. I'm always going to clean off. I pretty much clean off everything really well anyway. But if I spray BT on it, I'm like really making sure I put extra emphasis on that. But for the most part, we're able to control it with the netting that I showed. And then kind of later in the season, we'll end up with more. But I mean, at that point, we have so much growing that it's okay to let them have some of it. And we have a lot of chickens around the farm and stuff like that, and they help control a lot of our pests and things like that. And we do a lot of companion planting as well, which is something else that you can do to help with preventing these. So if you look at companions, you'll see some of these like dill and marjoram and garlic and oregano and rosemary and sage. All of these are on here as companions because the scent of them helps keep the moths from finding the kale plant. So that's one thing you can do to help with those. Anything else we need to add on, Kale? How many total are we talking about? I guess I need to not talk about as long on each one if we're going to make it.
You're good. Yeah, I would say we're about halfway through, and we have a little more than half
Well, a
left.
lot of the stuff we've talked about is going to apply to a lot of the other plants coming up too.
Exactly. Yeah. So next, I grouped these two together because they were in the same picture together, and I loved this picture. It was so pretty because it was in one of my big round raised purple smart pots. And if you guys know me at all, you know I love these purple smart pots. They are so beautiful. I love them, and the color's just so vivid, and it works great. So in this smart pot right here, I have a mixture of a bunch of different types of mustard greens and Swiss chard. So I am not the fan of mustard greens. Dale likes the mustard greens, but they are super pretty. I love to grow them anyways. So they're almost ornamental. They're so pretty to me, at least. I love them. My particular favorite is this red giant mustard seeds. They almost look purple whenever you grow them. They're very large leaves. They're very nice. I like this variety a lot. Now you'll have to ask Dale about the taste of them. I don't know how this one tastes compared to the
Tastes like
other.
mustard.
Yep.
I like the green ones more. This seems like more of a mild flavor, but I'm taking a handful of each and I'm putting them on a sandwich in place of mustard or a burger. And I get a little bit of mustard and I get a lot of nutrients, and I've never regretted it.
So we grow a lot of that, and then the bright lights Swiss chard too. So if you put those together, like, you have a beautiful ornamental edible garden right there. It's gorgeous. This bright light Swiss chard, it tastes incredible. I love the taste of it too, and especially if you're harvesting when it's cool out. It's really tasty. It's crisp. It's really good. Now, whenever you harvest it, like whenever it's warmer out, it's not going to taste quite as good. Now, that's how I tried it first, and I was like, I'm not a fan. But trust me, try it whenever it's cool out, and you will love it. And these work really great too if you let them get really large. Like, you can kind of see in this picture how large some of those leaves get. I use some of these for tortilla replacements too, along with the kids, because there's a bunch of different colors and it gets them excited about eating it from the garden whenever it's really pretty and unique colored, and it just makes it more fun.
Yeah, she loves this bright lights. It's legit like her favorite thing we grow. We
Yeah.
grow way more of it than we eat just because she likes to look at it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's ornamental too. Because I don't want to harvest all of it because it looks so pretty. So I have to have some that I grow just to grow, and then I grow some to eat. So it's like I have to have double the amount I actually need.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of mustard, not as much on Swiss chard. A little bit of it is okay, but I don't like to eat like one leaf is more than enough if I'm throwing it in like a mix or something. I'm not a big fan of it, but I am a big fan of mustard. If you like mustard, then definitely check out the mustard plant because you get a lot more health benefits out of it than eating mustard the way you're used to.
Okay. Next, broccoli. So there's two different broccolis that I was going to mention. So first of all, I know which one Dale wants to talk about, so I'm going to talk about the one that I want to talk about first. I I love growing purple broccoli. I know I feel like you guys are probably sensing a theme here with all of the things that I grow, but I like for things to be pretty too, because it's almost like my flowers too, because I'm like growing purple broccoli. It looks just as beautiful to flowers to me sometimes, and it I can eat it also. So it's amazing to have like different colors, and it I love it. I'm super excited. We are going to be growing a lot of this coming up soon.
I will say one of the purple ones is better suited for the fall, but I can't remember off the top of my head
It's
which
not
one it
this one.
is.
It was the other purple one. I
It was
don't
the
remember
other
what
purple one.
it was. The other purple one, yeah.
Well, Carrie knows what I'm going to suggest as my favorite.
Yeah.
There's two different ones, really. There's Asperbrock and artwork, and they're both at the top of the list, making them easy to find. They're very similar, but the point is they make a bunch of these. So instead of thinking about broccoli as though you're trying to harvest like this giant head of broccoli, instead, you're growing these. And it may form like one head of broccoli initially, and then you harvest it, then it makes a bunch of side shoots. Although some of these produce side shoots pretty much from the beginning. It's a little different for all of them, but I'm a big fan of those types of broccoli because the first couple of years that we grew, we had broccoli that was Waltham 29, I believe. Yep, this right here, where it produces the large broccoli heads. And they were doing so good. And I was so excited. And I was like blogging about it and making YouTube videos about it because we had just started this whole thing. And then out of nowhere, this hailstorm destroyed all of them. And I was so devastated because I was so excited to harvest some broccoli. And long story short, what I learned from that was that the entire broccoli plant is edible because I had like this completely destroyed broccoli plant and I posted like on a Facebook group about it or something. And someone told me, well, why don't you just cook all that stuff then? I was like, what? You can do that? And I immediately did that. We gathered up this was like at 10 o'clock and it was like a freak storm at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Do you remember that, Carrie?
Yeah.
Still.
It's crazy.
It was like a really big hailstorm. So like 10, 11 o'clock at night, we got all these broccoli remains and we like brought them into the kitchen and we chopped them up and stirred them, like stir fried them for a little bit. And when we tasted it, we realized, oh my gosh, this tastes exactly like the inside of an egg roll. And that was kind of like the moment for us where we realized, okay, we're going to think about broccoli different. So instead of thinking about we have to grow like this giant broccoli head that we have to wait on and try and protect from insects and hail and everything else that Oklahoma wants to throw at it, instead, we grow more of these. And not only are these easier to grow, you get faster harvest times off of them. I think the flavor is better. It almost has like a buttery flavor. I'm always adding butter to it anyways too, but it kind of naturally adds. Yeah, it's so good. I'm a big fan of these. The other ones are good too, but if you live in a tough place to grow like we do, like these hybrid broccolis are where it's at. As far as pests are concerned, same thing I mentioned with kale. You will have the exact same little green worms and little white moss flying around, and you handle them the exact same way. Don't plant your broccoli next to your cabbage or your kale because they're all in the same family and they all attract that same moth. So try and separate them out around the garden because if you have them like all together, then they're going to get decimated a lot faster than if they've got to like find them spread out, all around your garden. That's why we're mixing stuff all around and we're using these companions here to help guide kind of what we're planting around it. And also I want to mention in our grid builder, if you're mapping your garden in here, we did a good job on this garden. There's no issues. But if there is Carrie, do you know if you have a companion issue in one of these beds already? Here, I'll just come
I do somewhere.
I know one off the top of my head. So I know peas and garlic don't get along. So we're going to put those next to each other. And I'm going to show you what happens. So if I tried to grow garlic and put it next to my peas, shows that little X right there. And then that means it's a bad companion. We just pushed out an update that shows that label again, that shows like up above here that's a bad companion. I'm on an older update. But that little X right there, that's what that means. So that's how you can prevent yourself from planting things next to each other that shouldn't go next to each other.
So Michelle C was asking, do we start our Aspenbrock indoors now? So we will be, when's the date? I think it's later this month. We're going to
pretty much now. I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right now, we're in the window.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're waiting for our sponges to come in. And then, yes, as soon as our sponges come in, I think we talked about like planting out all of this, at least a lot of it, just on a live stream.
Let us know
next week. Does that sound boring or fun? Like, would you guys chill with this while we just plant a whole bunch of stuff and goof off and just talk about it? Let us know in the chat if you think that's interesting. But we're about to do that. We're about to go wild and plant a whole bunch of broccoli. And I'm not going to say all the other things because I don't want to give away what we're about to talk about. All right, what's next on our list?
Shannon had a real quick question. Do you have to have premium service to use that?
So you do not. You can you can log up to 10 plants without having premium. And then premium kicks in once you hit 10 plants. So you can try it out and test it all out and let us know what you think on it from that.
Okay. Ooh, kohlrabi. So this is one that we haven't. I feel like we talk about a lot, and it's kind of one of the more unusual ones because it's something that we literally had no idea what it was until we're like, I wonder what that is. Let's give it a try and start growing it. So it's this like really unique plant where literally like that entire plant that you see right there is edible. So and all of that is above ground. So it's just this little round ball right there that is right at the base of the soil, and it has these little shoots of leaves coming off of it. So you can eat that little round ball, you can eat the shoots of leaves off of it. It's super fun to grow, and it tastes really good too. It's really great in stir fries. We've made fritters with it before. We've done so much with kohlrabi before, and it's just one it's something really unusual to grow that is just it's fun. I like it. I'm trying to see if there we go. Our favorite variety, Express Forcer was our favorite kohlrabi one. Parksy had a couple different ones, but this was the one that just grew really well for us, like every single time. It just seemed to be like the foolproof one that always worked really well.
Trying to catch up on comments. I scrolled up a little bit.
You're good. Yeah, I've kind of lost a few of
Usually
them.
that's my job. Usually I'm in the background keeping up on comments. So
I've been trying to star a few of them to hopefully come back to.
yeah, a couple of things I'm going to go ahead and answer. I think we got some quick answers from things we talked about. So Swiss chard does tolerate the heat of summer, but it does not taste good in the summer. So it will survive over the summer, and then it'll start tasting better again in the fall. But it does handle the summer more than like lettuce bolts. Like Swiss chard actually does handle it. You just don't really want to eat it during that time. And then a question from Chrissy: what can you do if you still want lettuce? So the same thing I mentioned with spinach, I do with lettuce, meaning I plant it on the side of something that will be shaded in the afternoon. Lettuce can also handle a lot more shade, so you can plant it somewhere that like only gets morning sun. You also want to keep planting new rounds of lettuce because the lettuce that you plant in March will be some of the first lettuce to kind of bolt when it gets hot, whereas like some of the lettuce maybe planted in April will maybe hang on a little longer because it hasn't reached its end of life yet. So just keep succession planting lettuce and making sure you're putting it in places where it's going to get some shade in the afternoon once it warms up.
And I saw that Shannon had a quick question about what kohlrabi tastes like. So I always describe it as tasting something similar to broccoli, because it's in the same family as like broccoli, cabbage, kale, like all of those. So it has a very similar taste to me.
Yeah, it just like the stem of a broccoli is what it tastes like. So it's not like it doesn't taste as good as like the shoots of broccolini. It doesn't have that quality about it. But it does have like a really nice texture that I like with like broccoli and cheese and like macaroni. Like we'll make like macaroni and cheese with broccoli basically for the kids. And having these as like little, like almost like cubes that are almost like pea size. We cut them up kind of small. And it's like a crunch that has like a mild broccoli flavor that isn't overwhelming, and the kids will actually eat it. So the leaves, like you can eat like as well. You could chop those up, but really it's like that tennis ball looking thing is the main thing that we're harvesting and cooking with, and basically it's to use as like a replacement for like the cut part of broccoli. So if you're buying broccoli from the store now and you're buying the cut stems in the frozen section, it's that. Whereas the Asperbrock and the other ones are more like if you're buying fresh broccoli from Sam's Club is the way I kind of, because Walmart and like the other grocery stores don't really have, like some of the nicer grocery stores might have this, but it's like the really nice like broccolini type that we're typically getting from like hopefully that makes sense. Yes, this is a great tip too, to use kohlrabi instead of potatoes. I've heard that tip as well. Oh, roasted kohlrabi is really good too. We've made that where we just dice it up into little cubes and saute it with some garlic and onions, and then roast it for a little bit. That was really good. All of these, like pretty much everything that we make from the garden will taste good if you just dice it and saute it with onions and peppers and roast it for 15 minutes. Like that is like a simple recipe for literally everything except for beets. Beets are the only thing that we tried that with, and we're like, we don't really like that. Some people do, but we did. But that's the only thing that I think that we found that's aside from like lettuce, obviously, but squash and all those things, you can basically just chop it up and saute it and roast it for a little bit. Okay, so we've got cabbage next on the list.
Yes. So cabbage is one that it's very similar, I mean, pest wise and growing wise with all of the other ones. And of course, I had to mention the purple cabbage. So this Red Express right here, I would say it did hands down the best out of all of our cabbage that we grew last year. I feel like a lot of the cabbages that we grew tend to get attacked, of course, by the cabbage worms and yeah. But these ones tended to do a lot better. I'm thinking it's because of their color. I don't know why, but they just did a lot better. They're a smaller, more compact variety too, so we could grow more of them because they weren't quite as large. So that was just one of my favorites was that Red Express, and it just did really, really great.
Now, this one did have some pest pressure, but the ones that we were able to harvest were really good. And I really like this type of cabbage where it's more of like a taller cabbage. Instead of it producing like a round head you've got to wait on, that takes like this is 62 days on that one. There were some other Napa cabbages we had. They may be listed under bok choy because it's kind of a crossover there. But the leafy cabbages, do we have bok choy next on the list by chance? If not,
no, I had to cut some. I'm sorry. I know bok choy is one of our favorites, but
okay. So this, I basically consider this like a leafy cabbage, and this is more of what I grow than actual cabbage. I grow like a bok choy or like a Napa cabbage, which is a little different. That Amico that I showed is the closest one that we've got to that right now. But cabbage is going to have the same pests that I mentioned earlier with broccoli and kale, like those worms that we talked about. You're going to handle it the same way. It's going to need a lot of room and a lot of fertilizer. So make sure that you give it like plenty of room to grow because that tiny cabbage plant is going to really spread out and take a lot of space, depending on the variety. There's some varieties that stay small.
I say that Red Express was a good compact one, so that one was good for if you have a smaller space that you're growing in.
And there are some like really big cabbages. Like there's this program that some schools do on like who can grow the biggest cabbage that we were participating in one year until our dog ate the cabbage. Still a little bitter about that because we would have won that thing. I put a lot of care into that cabbage. Like it had a dedicated like 100-gallon smart pot. We were doing everything for it. The point is you can grow like really big cabbages, but that's a lot of work. And I much prefer the leafy cabbages. They're called Napa cabbages also.
Okay. We have like 10 minutes left. I feel like. I will hit a couple of these flowers real quick. So Pansy this is a good one for early spring. Of course, Pansy. The Flirty Skirts mix is a little small variety that I really like growing. It has a bunch of different colors, and we grow this one from seed for the first time last year, and it did really well. So I'm definitely going to be doing these Pansy mix seeds again soon. And marigold, of course, is one that we grow every single year because, of course, it's beautiful as well as it is really beneficial for like our tomatoes that we're going to be having coming up soon. And it's just a really great companion plant for a lot of plants. So we start a lot of marigolds by seed, and our favorite varieties to do, hands down, is the Whopper because they like it is the blooms are seriously like as big as the palm of my hand. They're huge blooms, like the biggest marigold blooms I've ever seen. I love it. So, and they're always really easy to grow. They're very simple. So it's just something that I wanted to make sure that I popped in, and they can tolerate the cold pretty well too. and calendula, of course. I know we've talked a little bit about these in the past too. I love these ones. Again, a really great variety for companion planting, as well as edible too. I feel like all the flowers we're talking about too are edible too. So um, these are ones. Oh, great question, Michelle. She's asking, am I starting pansies and marigolds in the biodome or direct seeding? So I start all of these indoors. And the calendula as well. I'm going to be starting these indoors just to get them a head start, just so I can have bigger, more mature plants whenever I put them out. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of trying to be okay. So cilantro is, I mean, you either love it or you hate it, right? I know some of you out there think it might taste like soap, while others love the taste. But whether you love it or hate it, it is super simple to grow. We literally just go out and toss cilantro seeds whenever we want to have some cilantro. And it's just, yeah, there's not a lot that you have to do with cilantro seeds and care for cilantro plants, and they will handle the cold really well. It's just something that, yeah, it's a terrific herb to add for the cool season.
It's really easy to grow. We typically, I like to just throw cilantro seeds around everywhere. So we just have cilantro kind of popping up around. I'll do that like in the fall. So cilantro we have growing out, so I can see it right now. It's like one of the only things we have growing out there right now. It survives the cold really well. So I'm a huge cilantro fan. We can never
Yeah.
have too much. And we also like to grow it as a microgreen too. Shout out to microgreens.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have only a few have come up so far, but we have some little baby microgreen cilantros over here too that we're growing. It's just so pretty, and it tastes really good too as a microgreen. So that's something that I love. So that way we always have microgreens. We always have cilantro even in the summer. We can grow them as microgreens inside.
And the spring is like a great. We have a lot of other herbs we're talking about.
I have parsley.
Because in general, like just the spring is a great time for herbs. Just in general, like
Yes.
yeah, rosemary, like all the perennials, all of that is a great time in the spring as well. We're not gonna have time to talk about them all today, but just know that
Yeah.
you're time for those two.
Yeah, all of these herbs are terrific to be, I mean, propagating right now to get ready to be planting outdoors or to be direct seeding. And yeah.
We got a question about cabbage I want to circle back to. It is a little bit of a different taste. So the green is a little like more mild and sweet, and the red is a little like peppery. And I like having a little bit of both, especially for making coleslaw. I like having both in it. And maybe like more green than red. But but they both taste good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Looks like we have a preference right here for the red cabbage. Everybody's going to have their own unique. Okay, carrots. So my favorite carrots are the rainbow carrots, of course, and there's also this variety. I ran out of time to pop up the QR code. I'm sorry. The dragon carrots, which are these purple ones. Yeah, right there. The dragon purple carrots. These are one of my new favorites. I love these. They are obviously very beautiful and they're fun. You guys know I love unique colors on things, but it's really fun to pull up a root crop that's just a fun, bright, vivid color. And it makes it a lot more fun to harvest and pull them out whenever there's unique colors. That's why I like the rainbow carrots too, because you never know what color you're going to get as you're pulling them out. So it's fun just to pull up and be like, oh, I got this color. Oh, I got this color. So it's fun to have all different varieties.
Circle back to the question about cilantro. It's probably too late to throw cilantro out now. Like I threw my cilantro seeds out in the fall before we had snow in the ground. But if you get a patch of weather, I imagine in Boston, it's like I've never been to Boston. Granted, I'm just guessing it's colder up there, and you're not going to be able to plant it for a little bit. But the app will tell you if you go in the app and look at cilantro, it'll give you the planting dates. But as soon as it says you can plant outside, just start throwing it outside. it's really easy. Like you don't have to do much to get it to germinate once you just throw seeds around. And I agree with carrot. I really like these dragon purple carrots. They actually do taste like there was a taste difference in them. But you really can't go wrong with any of these carrots. Some of the biggest tip I have for carrots is to use seed tape. Or do we have seed mats for carrot also, or do we just have seed tape for the So Effortless?
I think it's just seed tapes. We're gonna have to get those black ones too, the black nebulas.
Yeah,
I haven't tried growing those before, but somebody posted. So I saw a comment in here about those. I'm like, I need to try them. I'm excited. You know me and trying new things.
So this rainbow blend here of carrot seed tape. This seed tape makes it so much easier to plant carrots, especially for me because I have a hard time handling tiny seeds. I'm always dropping them everywhere. It just makes it so much easier to be organized if you use seed tape, and it comes in a roll and you just kind of lay it out and cover it with dirt, and that's all you have to do. And I definitely recommend it for carrots in particular. That's the number one thing. I don't think we're ever going to plant carrots without it. I guess if there's a variety we really want to grow like dragon, that's the way we will. But most of our carrots, like 90% of our carrots, are being planted with seed tape, and then it's just some of the other ones. And usually we're involving the kids to plant the carrots because they got smaller fingers and they like doing that. It's one of their favorite things to plant and harvest are carrots and potatoes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. And then along the same lines as carrots is radish, which there's this radish beauty blend. Are you pulling it up in the app? I see you pulling radish. But radish are definitely one that I would recommend doing, especially they're just so easy to do. They're typically about 30 days, if that, to harvest. So you get food real quick. Oh, this is a great question from Robin.
Yeah. So never start your carrots indoors. Like that's one of the things you always want to start them outside, because if the taproot gets disturbed, then the carrot isn't going to grow right. So pretty much all root crops we start outdoors directly. Some things like beets, like you can get away with growing indoors and transplanting out. But I've never really had much success with it. We just prefer to plant all root crops outside directly. And we're not starting any of those indoors.
I think we have one exception, and that is onions.
That is an exception.
Yep. I was going to say that's a good timing for onions to come up. So if you are starting your onions from seed, you typically will start these ones indoors, but they are a little bit better with transplanting than the other root crops. They're not the same, and these ones will transplant a lot better for you. But there's
the way that most people grow onions is you will buy these either sets or what's the other? Oh my gosh, my mind is blanking on me.
There's either sets or seeds. So
okay, then that's what I'm thinking. Well, there's also the little bulb, because there's the two different ways of growing the onions, right?
Yeah,
there's like the little.
Oh, I don't know. Those were like the little shallots, I think.
Yeah. So the two way you buy onions is either you buy them like this, where they're already grown out a little bit, and then basically these are grown by somebody else in the fall, and then they overwinter, and then you take them at that point and put them in your garden. So it saves you the effort of having to start the seed and do all of that. But they also sell them in these little bundles that look like this. So you'll buy them, and they look just like this basically, and they're in like a little bunch, right? And you pull those apart and then put those in the ground. They're not as developed as the onion sets that you would buy, starts and slip. Yeah, I see the chat now has got me covered. But those are the two different ways we grow onions. Usually it's in the little packs that look like that, though. We're buying just a whole bunch of them. Do we have this? I don't know if it's quite onion season yet for us selling the ones I'm talking about right now.
It's time to start seeds. I know that.
We're not quite ready for the sets yet, so I don't know if those are going to be available yet. But that's usually for us, like Valentine's Day is how I always remember the onions, because it's kind of funny that like on Valentine's Day, like you have onion breath. That's kind of the funny thing I always remember. about onions that help me remember that like Valentine's Day is when we're doing that. And then St. Patrick's Day is when we're doing potatoes generally. It's kind of an easy way to remember that. And that's kind of where I am, by the way. That's not everywhere necessarily.
Oh, I just saw that it's 1 o'clock, but this is the last one. So peas are terrific. We've even planted peas like in the snow before and had good results. But peas are something that we are planting like as soon as the planting window comes up. We are going out there and planting peas because honestly, the taste is unlike any other pea you can buy in the store. It is just so good. It's so tasty. You have to grow peas. You get so many pea pods just from one plant. It is totally worth it to grow your own peas. Okay. Do we have a winner yet? Have you been too busy to draw one?
One moment.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for staying with us. I just happened to look at the time. I was like, oh wow, we got too excited talking about all these. I know. I feel like we could talk a lot longer about all of our favorite varieties, but yeah. So we do have a winner that is going to be getting a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So I'm really excited. Okay. Are we ready to announce a winner?
Right. Jill
Congratulations,
Miller.
Jill Miller. Send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net and we will get you hooked up. So you will now have free shipping on everything through the app. You will also get unlimited visual garden layouts, unlimited plants you can log, and unlimited photos you can send up to Growbot. Yeah. So many.
Congratulations. And don't forget, if you're watching this after, you can still win. So this video is on YouTube. Like as soon as we hit end, this will go to YouTube and you'll see it there. And if you're watching from there, just comment in there and we'll announce the winner next week at the very beginning, just like we did on this one.
And same as you guys that are here right now, once this ends, you guys can go back in and comment away. So that way you guys can get entered to win again too if you didn't win.
Yeah. And we'll hang around a little bit longer and answer some more questions. Like Carrie mentioned, if you haven't checked out Growbot yet, definitely check it out. Let me show it. I can't show all the features of it because I'm on a simulator here. But if you go to the dashboard, you can do identify plant, plant help, or identify bug. And then you can actually send pictures to Growbot. So if I do plant help and then from photos, the only photos I have in here are like ones that came with it. So I'm going to see, like, I saw a yellow leaf in there, I think, on that picture. So let's see what it says. Yep. Yeah. It's that simple, y'all. This was one of the dreams for us when we started building Seed to Spoon, was to have a tool like this to where you could take a picture of something in your garden and identify it or see what's wrong with it, identify a pest. So all of that comes with the premium subscription, and you can get access to Growbot with the free account as well. You get 3 free questions a day, I believe. But premium access gives you unlimited on it. And we have some more improvements coming to Growbot pretty soon. We've been releasing a lot of updates over the past few months. If you haven't checked out our new visual garden builder, check it out. We also have a seed starting mode in here. So if I go into a biodome, you can see that you can actually set up a seed starting area and keep track of that. A lot of stuff we've added.
You want to show, Chrissy had a question. She said, can I add other seeds or plants that aren't in the app?
Yeah, let me show you how to do that. So if you want to add things into the, a couple of different ways to do it. So say we're in a garden bed. I'm going to create a brand new one for here for what we're doing. And I go to log a plant and I don't have it here. Well, you could add it from, do we not have custom plant here on this screen? You got to add it somewhere else. We need to make it where you can add a custom plant right here in this screen.
I thought that we did.
We will get that added. I think I probably broke that because I was the last one in here changing this code because I made it look different. Because before it's like that long list and you had to scroll forever to see anything. So I made it this grid and I got rid of custom plants. So I will add that in. But for now, the way that you can get to it is you can go over to growing guides and then you can add a custom plant right here. So there's this button right down here for add custom plant. And there's a couple different ways you can add it. You can scan the seed packet. which is really cool. You can just take a picture of your seed packet and it will, or like a plant tag, it works on that too. And you can log your plant that way, or you can enter it manually. So you can come in here and enter this information. If you have a seed pack, then it's going to be a lot faster and easier because it'll put all that stuff in there for you automatically. But then once you have it, then it'll be available for you. So if I come over here to my garden, like I saw some custom plants in here. Where were they? Right here. This rose, like this is a custom plant. This Radicchio Vivaldi hybrid, that's a custom plant. These are both things that we added in there, as a custom plant to test. So, and we are working on making it to where you can change this image. We ran into some hiccups there. And on a related note, we're also making it where you can resize the grid to be even larger. We've heard from all of you that you'd like to be able to go larger instead of having like each bed be its own. You want to kind of do like an overall view. So we're working on that as well, working through some kinks there, but we're really close on it. And I think we have it rolled out to our test group. If not now, it'll be rolling out already. So if you're not in our test group already, email us at info@seedtospoon.net and we can get you added into there. We're usually putting out new features a week or two ahead of time before we push it out to everyone else. Do we have any other questions we need to answer before we jump off of here?
I'm sure we do, but there's a lot.
Yeah, we need to do one that's just. I think when we do our we're on the same page.
I was gonna say, assuming that our sponges come in, which I placed the order yesterday, so
it should be like today tomorrow, probably
should be here by next week. So next week we will have our live stream of we'll be sitting here just planting out our cool season crops, and we will be chatting about them, answering questions, and just hanging out.
Yeah, so it's more of what we did today. And we'll talk about some things too, like we didn't cover potatoes today.
I know there's so many.
We didn't talk about fruits. We didn't talk about herbs. There's a lot of things we couldn't get to today. So we will do part 2 with a live demo tomorrow. I see a question. Let me address this one. So I think you have to go to the App Store to see that.
You go up to account up there, and it'll show
right here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. You got a while before yours expires on your account.
Yes, I do.
I guess lifetime. It thinks you're going to live till 2220. That's pretty good news, honestly. Yeah, that's better than we were thinking it was going to be.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. This was really fun. I love just sitting here, hanging out, chatting about all of our cool season things. And I'm very excited to start all of them next week. Woo! Awesome. Well, make sure if you guys aren't already following us on like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, we are everywhere. So make sure that you guys are following us, and we will be, wow, I'm stuttered there. And we will be back the same time, same place next week.
Bye, everyone.